Hey guys, welcome back to Unstop Biology. So guys, in today's video, we are going to understand what is photorespiration. So till now, we have already studied the Calvin cycle, which is the C3 cycle. We have also studied the C4 cycle, which is the Hatch-Slack cycle, right? So we studied about what exactly are C3 plants and what are C4 plants and how they both are different, right? So now let us try and understand one more process which basically creates a very important difference between C3 and C4 plants. And that process is photorespiration. That process is photorespiration. So before we start this topic, guys, yes, please do like the video if you did understand it and share it with all your friends. And if you're new to the channel, please do subscribe to the channel and press the bell icon to get all the updates. So guys, let's start with photorespiration. Now, what happens basically in photorespiration is that it is a light dependent process which was discovered by Dicker and Teo. So this was discovered by Dicker and Teo in 1959, and this is considered as a light dependent process, right? So here what happens is that the RuBP is oxygenated. So oxygenation of RuBP happens and carbon dioxide is released. CO2 is released, right, from the plant. Now, usually when we study photosynthesis respiration in plants, right, what we say, it's just the opposite, that there is an uptake of carbon dioxide and release of oxygen. But there is a process in plants itself, which is photorespiration, where just the opposite of respiration is happening, where they are consuming oxygen. Remember, they're consuming oxygen and releasing carbon dioxide, right? So now in order to understand, right, let's first go back and see what was the first step of the Calvin pathway. Now the first step of Calvin pathway was CO2 fixation. If you remember that, it was carbon dioxide fixation, that's right. Now this is the reaction where RuBP, the first carbon dioxide acceptor, ribulose bisphosphate, combines with carbon dioxide, right? And it forms what? It forms two molecules, right? Two molecules of 3-phosphoglyceric acid, 3-PGA, right? So this was the first part, the first step in Kelvin cycle, right? And this whole reaction, if you remember properly, this whole reaction was catalyzed by RuBisCO, RuBisCO enzyme, right? Now, there's one more fact that I would like to mention here is that RuBisCO is the most abundant enzyme in the world, and RuBisCO is considered as the most abundant protein in the entire biosphere, right? So here, what happens is that RuBisCO has two active sites. This enzyme, RuBisCO, has two active sites. There are two active sites, and that is why the name RuBisCO, right? So carboxylase and oxygenase both, right? So it has two active sites, and one can bind to CO2, the other one can bind to oxygen, right? So now normally what happens, RuBisCO has a much greater affinity for carbon dioxide when carbon dioxide and oxygen both are equally present. So it will always have affinity towards carbon dioxide and it will prefer binding to carbon dioxide, right? Now, what would happen if there is no carbon dioxide, right? Now, if there is no carbon dioxide, right, or relative concentration of oxygen increases a lot and carbon dioxide decreases, right? Then what happens? So basically, guys, in C3 plants, which use directly Calvin cycle, right? Some O2 binds to RuBisCO, right? And hence carbon dioxide fixation is decreased. Now here the ribulose bisphosphate, instead of being converted to two molecules of PGA, it binds to oxygen and forms phosphoglycerate, right? And phosphoglycolate. So these are two carbon compounds. And this process is known as photorespiration, right? So basically what is happening in photorespiration? Now in photorespiration, so normal was this, right? Now what happens in photorespiration? What is happening? RuBP binds with oxygen, right? And here it is again using RuBisCO, but the oxygenase part of RuBisCO, okay? Oxygenase basically, right? And what it is producing? It is producing one phosphoglycerate, right? So there is one molecule of PGA and the other molecule is phosphoglycolate, right? Now this phosphoglycolate is basically two carbon. And this pathway is known as photorespiration. So basically, in photorespiratory pathway, there is neither synthesis of sugar and nor ATP, and rather it results in release of carbon dioxide with utilization of ATP. So here there is release of CO2 with usage of ATP. Right? Now, the photorespiratory pathway, what is happening? There is no synthesis of ATP or NADPH, and the biological function of photorespiration is not known to anyone yet. Right? Now, what happens in C4 plants? So, in C4 plants, this photorespiration does not occur. Remember, guys, this photorespiration does not occur. So, photorespiration, this occurs only in C3 plants, right? Now, why it doesn't occur in C4 plants? This is because they have a mechanism that increases the concentration of carbon dioxide at the enzyme site, right? So basically, when C4 acid from mesophyll is transferred to the bundle sheath cell, right? And then it is broken down. It is broken down to a 3 acid, C3 acid, and carbon dioxide is released, right? So basically, this continuous release of carbon dioxide, this results in increasing the intracellular, the inside cells, है ना? The intracellular concentration of carbon dioxide. And in turn, this ensures that RuBisCO always functions. Remember, RuBisCO always, it always functions as carboxylase, and that minimizes the oxygenase activity, right? So that is why we also say that the C4 plants, since they lack photorespiration, the productivity and yield of products here are better in C4 plants than the C3 plants. So you'll also have to remember that the productivity and yield is better in C4 plants. Now, where does this phosphorespiration happens? So the site of phosphorespiration is chloroplast only. So right, so this happens in chloroplast, and along with this peroxisome and mitochondria. right? Peroxidome and mitochondria are also required to complete the process, right? And this complete process of respiration, photorespiration, is also known as photosynthetic carbon oxidative cycle, which is PCO cycle, right? So this photorespiration is also known as photosynthetic because it is happening only in the presence of sunlight, carbon oxidative cycle. Okay, and here the role of, you'll have to just understand the role of RuBisCO enzyme changes from carboxylation to oxygenation. So here, instead of using the carboxylase from RuBisCO, it is utilizing oxygenase, and it is basically using the carbon dioxide, right? So it is basically, sorry, releasing the carbon dioxide and using the oxygen. Okay. Now basically there is no production of any kind of sugar or energy molecule, right? So rather than producing energy, it is an energy consuming process, right? And that is why we consider photorespiration as a highly wasteful process, right? And what is the function of this process? That is not known yet. So guys, I hope you would have understood the process of photorespiration and what exactly it is. A very important concept. So please do like the video and share it with all your friends. And yes, if you have any doubt, please do not hesitate in asking doubts. You can either mention your doubts in the comments of this video, or you can just send your doubts through WhatsApp. I have already given the WhatsApp number in the description. And yes, guys, if you're new to the channel, please do subscribe to the channel and press the bell icon to get all the notifications. Thanks for watching this video, guys. See you in the next one. Till then, take care. Bye bye.